Hello everybody, Mesaturi here, taking a look at 036 BeamNG Drive update. Today's video is going to be a little bit more of a deep dive into it. We're going to go ahead and take a look through all of the new stuff. So here we are in the 036 release notes. So they always put out two different pages. One is a brief overview, one is the release notes, which has all the deep diving goodie bits in here. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look. Of course, now it looks like in the MD series is finally getting some love after they had added it. There's a couple of decent little deals with it, but definitely now this is awesome. We got the school bus and armored truck being added in. We'll take a look in-game after a little bit when we get through all of this kind of stuff here as well. So we got different pictures and everything here. You guys can go ahead, take a look at the website if you want to take a look at these pictures more in detail. But again, we're going to take a look. So it looks like we got a short Type B and long Type C version of the buses. We got different liveries. It looks as well, you know, and from what I've seen from the video here, I've taken a look at some of this stuff. The emergency exits, both of the windows that you get in the buses, which you can see these are going to be the ones that got this little silver on the bottom. You can tell that they are emergency exit windows. Those open, the hatches on top open. I don't know about the back though. I didn't see that in the video, so that would be pretty interesting to see. We've also got that armored truck variant, so we can see that here in this picture and this picture. So that is supposed to be more durable and everything like that, as they say here. Featured 3 configurations. We got the bank truck, police truck, and a custom traffic destroyer. And apparently extremely durable body hardened glass. So it makes it nearly immune to side and rear impacts. Which, I mean, ain't bad, but I think there should be a little bit of buffness to the front impact as well. Because imagining if you come up in an armored truck with the bunch of money or something in it, right? And there's like 4 cars blocking the road. Well, what are you going to do? Put it in reverse, turn around and back through them? No, you're going to have to drive forward and get right through them, right? That's the way it would kind of have to go. But that's okay. Now they've got expensive loads available in the part selector with money bags and pallets. I guess pallets are worth a lot of money. Yeah, okay. Features realistic working door locks. Front ones controlled manually via switches, and the rear ones lock automatically. Other improvements: added ability for suspension axles to become detached from the frame. Sounds like something they had whoopsied on a long time ago, but it makes sense because, you know, that can happen. They added rear shock options, which are equipable in the parts selector. I don't know where else you can equip them, so it kind of makes sense, right? We also got the Burnside Special getting a refresh here as well. So I had seen a little teaser about the Miramar, but now looking at it, I think makes sense that we got these both around that. So yeah, we got this guy, we got all kinds of drag, different additions and stuff, but mainly it looks like what they have done: 2-door sedan, 2-door hardtop body variants have been added, chopped version of the hardtop coupe, facelift variants, you know, new quarters, grills, bumpers, stuff like that. They fixed mesh errors on the chopped sedan pillars. They added a rust skin for all body variants, which is good. It's an older vehicle, so there should be some rusty ones, right? They refreshed the geometry and textures for previous engines, adding a flathead V8 option, roll cage, gas or exhaust for overhead valve and flathead V8, an inline-6 engine, new meshes and textures with a dual carb intake for that. It looks like a trunk tank for liquids transportation as well, which that's pretty cool. We got headlight bezel material is now PBR. That's basically what they're saying, with fixed headlights not being PBR, but now they are PBR. So essentially PBR is being, instead of just a flat image, it actually has different map images that allow it to look 3D and, you know, appear that way. So it actually looks a lot better. Capped exhausts and hoses. I'm not sure what they mean by that exactly, but okay. They revised the 313 V8 option and added a 274 V8 as well, so that's pretty awesome. We also got the Miramar as a refresh. I haven't looked at the video for this one, though. It looks like new body variants, the coupe and the ute. They got new facelift parts, new 4 headlight GTZ front fascia, new left-hand drive interior parts, which is great because, you know, it is a Miramar Ibishu, so that's like Asian. I would say Japanese myself, but I can't confirm or deny if that's the goal. Asian is definitely the goal, though, I would say. Yeah, added striped skin for the ute body, which is awesome because we're going to have a ute. There's going to be probably some usage of that in the upcoming season of RLS here, if I had to guess. Let's see. They added a bench seat. Retuned deformation of the passenger cell. That's one that we're going to see a lot. So I'm thinking they're retuning the deformation when they say passenger cell. I initially thought, oh, the passenger side of the car. Strange. And I think they mean the whole area of where the passenger seats are, that kind of a thing. They also converted the gauge materials to PBR for the Piccolina and did some more deformation retuning in the Legrand for the passenger cell. Bruckle Moonhawk fixed missing ECU slot on the 309 V8, which I never noticed, but that's probably because I don't really play with those a lot, which I really should. I do agree, I really should. The Charrier FCV has updated Vivace EV drive modes to better match the ICE versions. So I'm thinking the EV drive modes pretty much work similarly to how the ICE ones, ICE being internal combustion engine, that's what it stands for. Civetta Bolide got some issues with the Targa roof fixed that we're having brakes and stuff going on there. Looks like the 800 series fixed no texture issue on the drift config gauges screen, mesh braking issue on pillars, and second UV map on the sunroof. They fixed it. So I'm not sure precisely what they mean there, but you know, it's something that's been fixed apparently. The I-Series, they retuned deformation of the passenger cell there as well and converted the gauge materials to PBR. K-Series fixed missing name of trim lettering slot. The Wydra fixed display name in career. The Barstow, they converted the gauge materials to PBR as well as for the Blue Buck, they did that too. The Gabriel D-Series, they got gas pedal clipping through the floor on full throttle. I mean, that was not something I ever really noticed, but I guess I'm not really paying attention to the floor so much. But if you're in VR or something like that, maybe you could notice that. It fixed smoothness on the Road Sport fog lights as well. Reduced the poly count on the window net, which is good because that is a performance improvement. That's what that basically will mean. Whether or not it's going to be noticeable or impactful is a different story, but it will improve in performance. It's just how much we don't know for sure. It could be teeny tiny half a frame per second worth, you know. The Grand Marshal, they fixed the base steering wheel being slightly off center. Interesting. Fixed the broken setup on gauge materials and improved textures and converted to PBR as well as badge materials to PBR. The H-Series got PBR gauge materials, it looks like. The Gavril Roamer fixed issue with wrong shifter position when police flashers were equipped. Fixed broken gauge materials set up and converted to PBR. T-Series, the concrete mixer J-beam has structure adjustments, tweaked rigidity, strength, deformation, and weight. So probably a little bit better for realism that way. I adjusted the V8 engine torque curve for the T-Series. And the Tinker upfit, they fixed incorrectly set up functions for dynamic load, node weight, and beam values. Okay. Dynamic load, node weight, and beam values. So that would be in the tanker when you get fluids. I'm guessing it didn't quite get the load weight right when it was actually being loaded in there with the nodes and stuff and how they work and the beam values. Can't say 100% that I'm correct on that, but that's what it seems like to me. The Hirochi Arata. I don't really like that name, I'll be honest, but it is what it is. That's the like side-by-side ATV type of like thingy. They improved engine oil pan protection with updated skid plate structure, fixed mesh braking of rear body when rear fenders detach. It looks like SBR4, they fixed the navigation boot up screen being stretched and its design slot not working. The Sunburst, that has had a remaster in the last update. They replaced a navigation boot up screen with a dedicated one, a typo in drift suspension tuning menu, which I had seen that myself. Trunk trigger still being a little bit off center. I mean, I'm not too picky. I'm okay with it, but it's still nice to see little things like that being tidied up, you know. Fixed navigation screen being unbreakable. I suppose that's pretty fair. Issues with rally spare tire mount breaking the seats and other parts. Okay. Okay. I did not know that was a possibility. The Ibishu Covet, they fixed the fuel tank capacity being too small there, which I guess makes sense. I'm not sure. The Ibishu Hopper, they retuned deformation of the passenger cell as well. They designed a new roll bar J-beam. Designed for roll bar J-beam, yep. They reduced poly count of the window net, so that seems like something that they did throughout the entirety of vehicles that do have the windows nets, if I'm guessing there, because it probably uses the same one and just copy paste to the different vehicles, stretched, changed a little bit, you know, made to fit kind of a thing. And converted gauge materials to PBR. And for the old school 96 Pessima, they retuned deformation of the passenger cell and fixed broken light material setup. So yeah, something with light materials. Not 100% sure what they mean, but awesome. The Pigeon passenger cell, Lansdale got the passenger cell, Dune Kicker, they reduced the window net poly count again. Wentward, the big bus, added interior triggers. That's awesome. About time. Let's see, we got simplified traffic vehicles, adding fading lights to all relevant traffic vehicles. So when they say that, if I see this occur on something like the Vivace or the ETK, I want to say 800 series for the majority of them. Some of those newer cars, they should have LED lights. If I see this still happening, oh boy. Trailers, they fixed console warnings for some trailers. A small flatbed trailer, they updated to use the new coupler system. Okay. And the tanker trailer fixed incorrectly set up functions for the dynamic load, node weight, and beam values. So it seems like they had a tanker issue, both with the upfit and the tanker trailer. So they likely share also, again, the same files, and they're just dynamically changed between the vehicles so that it reduces work, which makes sense. Nothing wrong with a little copy and paste as long as things are fixed, set up appropriately. Props-wise, Soft Track Barrier has an increased weight of all variants in an attempt to fix instability issues. The Sawhorse remastered the prop with improved art and J-beam. If I'm thinking right, that would mean with the Sawhorse that hopefully this time when you run it over, it doesn't just stick into the car and stay there. If it still does that, I'm not going to be too happy, but I guess it is what it is, right? The gate, they converted the prop to PBR materials as well. For common stuff, file cleanup and optimization, they removed many single color or blank texture files and replaced with materials values to optimize VRAM usage, which that is amazing. That is great for me and other people who are still stuck on 8 gigabytes of VRAM because we cannot afford an upgrade. And to be honest, it's just one of those things that, like, the cost is outrageous right now for me personally to look at that. I mean, like, really? Do I want to get myself a brand new electric bike so I can ride around, or do I want to get a graphics card? Or do I want to get a used car? You know what I mean? Like, they should not all be in the same price bracket, but they are, unfortunately. Anyway, carrying on, little sidetracked. Material files cleaned up, the outdated systems and old leftovers removed, so that'll help with install size being shrunk a little bit. Matched values of accessory and off materials for screens. Fixed and updated HTML screen materials to PBR as well, so that's really nice. Replaced some square triggers with round ones on some vehicles where they fit better, that's good. Fixed tow hitch mesh error on common truck flatbed upfit. And adjusted car paint colors for improved visual consistency across all models. That's awesome too. Now we get into the levels stuff. There's my mouse doing that thing again. I'm moving it, but it's not moving. There we go. West Coast USA, they improved collisions They say they got a big update on collisions. A lot of high poly collisions were optimized mainly in the city area, resulting in a slight decrease of memory usage. So that's another little bit of a helper right there. They switched all materials to PBR, and that results in a memory gain as well. I don't know. See, they say memory gain. Does that mean more free memory being gained or more used memory gain? You know what I mean? Which way does it actually go? Not super clear, but I think it'll be all right. I think we'll be fine. Many ground cover and foliage elements were kept non-PBR for lighting properties yet to be fixed. So in other words, we might get a big old lighting update within the next couple of versions. That's going to be awesome. So of course we got the little slider deals here. We could take a look. Like, main thing is the windows here. We can see the difference in how those handle and how the... Almost feels like the field of view is just a touch different between the two of them. Because like on the right, yes, that is nearly perfectly lined up. But yeah, anyway, of course you guys can go through, take a look at all of those guys. They also fixed most of the main visual issues around the map, including texture stretching, non-welded vertices, holes in buildings. They did a foliage update, updating the eucalyptus and cypress trees, materials, and libraries. And the showroom got a global environment map, so level of reflection has been updated with an HDR reflection that matches its visuals and lighting. On to the next section of gameplay. Mission marker and mission screens have been improved even more. They just did mission screens, did they not? The UI for it, at least, I know that. In that section, they did some stuff with that. So that's, either way, it's really good. Nice to see. Kind of refreshing things a little bit. Mission markers now have a smaller shape and more clear when you interact with them. All mission positions have been adjusted to be less intrusive while driving, usually from the middle of the road to the roadside. So a lot of them, like there was the one by the industrial warehouse in West Coast. So that's the one that's right close to the bridge before you go over the island. There's that warehouse right there. You can pick up stuff. And in the middle of the road, when you're in free roam, is where one of the markers is at. That's not great, you know. So it's nice to have it off to the side of the road. Plus, to go there and get to that. Now that's nice because you can pull off to the side of the road. Traffic's not going to back up if you want to sit there for a moment, whatever. Just nice little detail. All mission positions have been adjusted to be less intrusive. Yes. The mission details screen has been updated for improved controller and gamepad interaction. Boy, oh boy. I've been busy. I recorded episode 26, 20, or not 26, but episode 27, 28, 29, and the finale. So those are all ready to go. So that way I can go ahead and pop into 036 and update, because as soon as I do that, the mods will no longer work properly. Some will, but not all. Especially because we have all this PBR and stuff like that going on. Yeah. Let's see. Navigation markers and collectible icon meshes for missions have been updated. Updated all collectible icons. Updated arrow ribbon marker to show missions and on the navigation route. Updated arrow direction marker as well. We got several new missions in here. Miramar Menace, Fragile Assist, and Outback Bangers. Miramar Menace is a Golden Era police evasion mission where you must escape the police in your Miramar UTE after the residents of East Coast have complained about your reckless driving. How awesome. Fragile Asset. Now we get to deal with the armored truck here. So it's pretty much like they just gave us one mission each for the new stuff, which that's fair enough. That's fine. Fragile Asset, we got the stolen armored bank truck in the police interceptor. We got to stop the thief. Do not wreck the bank truck, though. They're expensive to replace. So that's kind of difficult. That's going to be a really good, tough one. Kind of have to like wedge it into a spot to get it to stop without damaging it. Outback Bangers, a Golden Era banger race set out in the wastelands of Johnson Valley. That'll be pretty fun as well. We got a new replay system for supported mission types. So it looks like drift, time trials, AI races, and chases will be supported. This is pretty tiny, so I want to take a look closer into this because I'm curious as well. Okay. So it'll just automatically save, or yeah, okay. It looks like you just turn it on, you could start, and it'll go, which is really, really helpful for content creators as well, because, you know, we can actually not have to start a mission, hit the button. We just toggle the option on, try it, and then when we're done, we can delete everyone but the one that we need to use, or the couple that we need to use, you know, things like that. Be a lot easier that way. Let's see, advanced distance tracking for chase missions, optional scoring based on average distance to suspect. UI is not fully implemented though. Added a wrapper function to quickly set up pursuit gameplay. It's used for chase and evade missions. Drag race system, general improvements. They added throttle override for the start launch. This will improve staging and better use the two-step system in many vehicles. Minor improvements regarding performance and staging. Fixed issue that caused reaction time to not be correctly processed in certain scenarios. That almost sounds like how it was having a horrendous time getting it correct, and then all of a sudden it would go 0, 0, 0. And I was like, I did not think I would be perfect for my reaction time. But I think that makes sense. That was definitely a bug, and hard one to notice at that, so that's really good there. Final time is now calculated as a time package that includes the quarter mile and the reaction time. That sounds a little bit more realistic to me. And an eyebrow hair gets stuck in my glasses. I'm getting so distracted. Let's see, garage to garage missions. They updated the recovery system, fixed the abandon button, new destination marker, and improved the flow graph implementation as well. Bus missions have been improved for the quality standard of all other missions with an updated recovery system, fixed abandoned button not working properly, improved the flow graph implementation. General mission balance and improvements also, starboard balance and AI driver strength balancing on many missions across the game. So AI driver strength would basically be like the chases, stuff like that. And maybe some of the racing stuff in the APMs as well. User interface. Now, yes, this is what we got now. So they're still playing around with the user interface, still changing that up. I think this is the third or fourth time they've done that, at least since I've been playing the game. So, you know, it's always nice to see a little bit of freshened up kind of stuff there. Let's see, reorganized menu structure is now split into 2 pages. The more page shows all the other game modes like we see here with the campaign scenarios, all that. Otherwise, you could do quick start experiences, free roam, and more. So quick start experiences to help new users experience the game in a more streamlined way. This includes 5 free roam based experiences, which will load a level, set up vehicles and environments in the same way one can do in free roam. So it's free roam with presets is what they call it. That's pretty cool. It includes 10 challenges that showcase the broad range of scripted gameplay. To be quick and easy to get into. That's good. What do we got down here? Yes, so this is the quick start stuff here. Okay. And they even give you a time of how quick you can do it. That's pretty cool. More radial menu improvements, customization. So now we can change action slots in the root menu as well in the quick action selection category thingy. Can reset radial menu customization in the options user interface. Organization cleanup. New repair category has been added. Improved icons of some actions. And they added and improved all of these actions. Improved the explosion effect of the boom action. So that's awesome. Fill and empty fuel tanks. Fling down and boost backwards have been added. Ooh. Force field now has an attract mode in addition to repulse mode. So before, the force field was basically like a bubble and everything would fly away from you. Now you can make it to where everything just sticks to you as you go through. That's kind of crazy. Randomized vehicle paint or route. Oh, that's pretty cool. So we could do randomized vehicles. That's nice. Follow and race route AI commands. Disable AI commands. So follow and race route. That's pretty interesting because, yeah, been wanting to do AI on the Nordschleife there, and when I just set them to traffic or to flee, either one thing or the other happens. Either they go 20 miles an hour around it, including down the straight, they go like 80 when their car could be doing full speed without an issue. I'll pass them with a car with half the horsepower, right? Or I put them on to flee and then they go off the road, or they, some reason or another, slam on the brakes and go behind me and then run me off the road. And it makes it weird because they're supposed to be fleeing, but then they go into chase mode. I don't understand that. So that could be really good. Repair all vehicles will be a nice one to have as well. Time of day, oh, there's a hotkey for that, Control Shift D, so that's okay. Tire marks control and environment menu. Yeah, not too bad, I suppose. For controller, definitely helpful though. Easily set up a race to a random location with a few clicks now. Clone current vehicle, random vehicle, randomized colors, random route, race route, and then combine these actions to the radial route menu for quicker access. Spawn a bunch of cars, use free roam actions, manage vehicles. Okay. They improved the photo mode, reworking the depth of field controls. Some more intuitive controlling blur, focus point, and aperture. Smart autofocus feature as well. In the car, the camera will try to focus on the car. Otherwise, it focuses on the center of the shot. It's pretty awesome. So here we can see a little car peeking around the corner. I added extra features section so you can save and load camera presets basically. And photo mode settings, and you can clear tire marks and reset post effects as well. That's awesome. And design, they updated most UI elements to be consistent, corner rounding for more cohesive look, improved appearance and interaction feedback for buttons, improved drop-down menus for better visual hierarchy and improved usability, improved text input boxes for better focus indicators and styling, improved interface scaling for different screen sizes, improved handling of content that exceeds available space, updated the garage interface with base components, and improved the layout. That's awesome. Control Shift F. This is my go-to. I gotta be honest, I use this a lot. And they included some additional CPU metrics, providing more fine-grained measurements, which is awesome. Eliminated the confusing use of M millisuffixes in the timing numbers. So do we just not know? I'm confused now. Because I understood the M milliseconds, you know, or whatever else like that. Improved choice of rainbow colors for better visual visibility of labels, so we can customize that a little bit more. Easier to reach option menu checkboxes. They reduced wasted empty space. The graphs are now bigger and the chosen vertical scale of graphs has been improved. They fixed the physics rate working incorrectly while the simulation is paused. Fixed a rare bug where having the performance graph panel active could impact frame rate more than it should. Actually, yes, and that happened to me a lot. Believe it or not, it really did. When I was setting up the finale episode, as you guys will see in a while, you won't see the actual section where it happens, but I pulled that open and I went from like 26 frames because I had all the vehicles out, so it was pretty impactful, down to about 20. And it's like 6 frames just to open up the performance graph to see what is the impact here, where I can try and maybe close some applications or something to help, right? What I need to do, or if there's something I can do. Yeah, that was kind of sad. So it's good to see that they got that fixed. Let's see. They added a new frame rate metric related to the user interface. So it'll help with the UI workloads, kind of understanding that and everything like that. So if the metric name contains main, it's related to the main UI alone, not dashboards, license plates, etc. It'd be things like the UI apps, the main menu, that kind of stuff like that. Minor internal improvements to how the metrics are measured as well, so that should help a little bit. Let's see, UI navigation. They added support for using the left analog stick to navigate menus. Awesome. Improved navigation through the interface using controller inputs. Good. And improved visual representation of control bindings. Awesome. I like that. That'll be helpful for me too a little bit. Let's see, vehicle configurator, part selector. They improved the interface, better persistence and navigation when choosing vehicle parts, better handling of automatic part application versus manual mode. I don't know how that is to mean. Is it like faster, or, you know, how does that actually work? Well, all right. We got paint. They overhauled a vehicle painting interface, added close to real material preview, improved preset system with better organization, and added reset buttons to the parts and menu tuning menu. Not sure. I thought there already was some, but okay, cool. UI apps, racing apps, the drag race enhancements, better tree lights and racing interface, rally pace notes, updated visual pace notes with improved distance color coding. Improved distance color coding. Nice. Mission progress, the enhanced mission progress bar with better color schemes. That's good too. Improved notification system for better user feedback, enhanced countdown display for racing events, new flexible data display system for various gameplay scenarios, improved memory usage and texture management in the Navigator UI app. It also helps with the dashboard navigators because they use a similar system. It's not part of the main UI, but I'm sure they have some of the shared code, so that probably is where that comes from. Improved time of day slider in the environment menu. It now shows noon at the center and midnight in the corners. That makes more sense to me. Improved fog slider in the environment menu, making it easier to control the amount of fog. Added a new loading screen hint that was suggested in this comment on Reddit. Let's go ahead and take a look here. A helpful tip is when you crash and your hood is blocking your vision, you can get out and jump on it to flatten it. How awesome. That's really nice. And they put it in there too, so awesome work. I like that though. That is true. You could do that. Like, you can. Same thing with your trunk. Your doors, maybe you could run into them, but it doesn't always work. That's kind of one of those that's, well, depends on how damaged it is. I had actually in the finale episode opened a door on the drag vertex. Little spoiler. And essentially the door got stuck and would not close for some reason, so I ran into the door and it closed it. So it worked pretty good. Let's see, what else do we have here? Improved a message shown on screen when GPU fails to respond, including tips on possible reasons. That's good to know. New loading screen hint, yes. Improved controller navigation with defined scoping boundaries. Cool. Added max length to career save name and fixed styling for long names. Nice. Bug fixes and stability. They fixed issues related to dynamic tooltips, resolved various focus-related issues. Gamepad navigation fixed a bug where the window title might not always reflect if the window is in the background. Fixed some startup error dialogue showing outdated text. Fixed the loading screen sometimes not refreshing at the intended update rate. Fixed route animation speed in the overview map for different frame rates. Fixed switch input losing focus styling when changing a value. Fixed career save list to prevent the menu button from exiting the screen when managing or updating a save. Nice. Now we got career mode early preview, which it really is. It still is like a beta part of it. You know, it's a lot to be worked on. Part customization improvements. When adding a new part to a vehicle, the subparts are filled automatically with parts from the inventory if they fit first. So now, you say already had a certain V8 engine, right? You could have a pre-existing ECU or something like that for that, and it might put it in. Or maybe you want to change an exhaust. Well, the muffler that usually goes with it, you had from another, you know, same car or something like that, and it could fit in there. It'll use it. That is awesome. It saves money. It saves headache of having to go and switch out the parts manually and everything. It's so much of an improvement. It's going to be awesome. It really is. Slots in the list are now sorted alphabetically. I kind of like it, but here's my issue, right? Front and rear suspension. That is always something I've been battling with, and I hate it myself because it's like, I want to set the same front and rear wheels, front and rear brakes, right? Want to make things that way for a race car, off-road, stuff like that. Now, that means it's going to be darn near to the top for front suspension and almost to the bottom for rear suspension. So you're going to have a lot more scrolling to get between them to check, okay, what did I put on the front again? Oh, yep, got to go down here. Or you got to check your parts list over on the side. I think personally it should be grouped by the type of components that there are. So front and rear suspension together, your engine, transmission, they're obviously in a nested tree like that, but that kind of gives you that idea of those being that way. You can have front of the car, or not front of the car, but like chassis components all grouped together in a little group too. Things like that, I feel like, or ways to change how it's sorted. Either one would be very nice that way. Let's see, we also got various UI tweaks, allows the user new vehicle selling system. That's what I forgot to read that. Allows the user to put their vehicle up for sale and get different offers over time. You choose which offer to accept and which ones to decline. So this is basically the same thing that Raceless had implemented just recently in RLS, actually. I mean, the mechanics of it, maybe the timing of it, stuff like that might not work exactly the same. There's going to be differences too. But the idea is essentially the same. You can put up a vehicle and it'll basically be like when I go to the private sale screen, except in reverse. I'm putting it up on the private sale page, and one of the magical nobodies out in the game is buying it because there's no people in the game, right? So that's got to be the way it's going. You can also choose to accept and decline, whatever, stuff like that. Refactored dealership system as well. The inventory dealerships will now update over time instead of all at once. That's going to be fun. Because it used to be 15 minutes, or was it 30 minutes, something like that? I can't remember. There was a certain amount of time to where you could just sit and wait. Everything would refresh, and then you can go looking for new vehicles. Now, just gonna be luck of the draw, plain and simple luck of the draw. I mean, you can sit there and constantly refresh every couple of minutes and hopefully you find your vehicle, but you might sit there for a while. So yeah, not as more realistic. Yes, I will agree there, but kind of a okay. Let's see. Let's see. We'll now show vehicles as sold if they have just been sold. So it looks like other NPCs, so to speak, can buy them, even though they're not really anything in the game like that. Let's see, they added the ability to rename vehicles. The name shows up, for example, in the inventory menu. Unpainted parts, like after repair, will now lower the vehicle's value. Makes sense. Now, repeatedly repairing parts will now lower the value with each repair as well. Makes sense, but ouch, because this is kind of making career into a more hardcore, don't damage your vehicle whatsoever type of a thing. And for some people that's amazing. For me, I like to have a little bit of fun. I like to push things really hard. I like to try and do stupid stuff like that, and end up crashing a little bit. I still try not to damage, but once in a while I just push a little bit and I crash, And I mean, Richard is one of my cars that I crash all the time because I know he's very capable. It's a very fast and very fun car to drive, so I'm always pushing it beyond what I should and crashing it. So yeah, that's going to be kind of fun. Fixed an issue with the computer menu would not open correctly if the opening trigger was very big. Interesting. Opening trigger was very big. No clue, but all right. Fixed issue with the career would not load after selecting a career profile. I had that only happen twice. So, I mean, not too big of a deal. And at that, just restart the game, retry, and it worked. Kind of sucks, but not horrible. They added a new gamepad vibration system only for Xbox controllers, unfortunately. So I pretty much did this the workaround way in the past, to where It was based on steering angle and slash or the steering grip, if I remember correctly. I have had it off basically for the entirety of season 3 because I set up a different controller and I had things I was playing with it, and it just turned it off because it was annoying me a little bit. But yeah, now actually you can go into options, controls, vehicle, select the steering binding of your Xbox controller, which is what I did in this first step for myself as well. Make sure 1-to-1 steering angle is set to 0, otherwise your gamepad will use the old outdated form of vibration. Okay. Scroll down to force feedback, make sure enabled is checked. Yes, that is exactly what I would do too. A good starting value for strength slider is around 100. You can adjust it to your liking. You disable vibration by going to options, controls, vehicle, steering binding of your Xbox controller, and then scroll to force feedback configuration, uncheck the enabled option. So it's essentially the exact same thing I've been doing. Although the vibration mode itself may be different, the setup is the exact same way as what I've been doing. Other than step 2 of steering angle thingy, yeah. The rest of it's been pretty much the same. Let's see. Input and map files can now specify a custom pack of images. Okay, how about that? New JSON field is image pack, and it allows to customize which icons will display on screen for each given input device. Simplified force feedback smoothing configuration. Fix some cases where vehicle actions that weren't active could still block other input actions from being used. Okay, that kind of leads me into something I was just dealing with a little bit ago, where the D series, I don't know what mod it is, and hopefully it gets fixed, because in my opinion, it's kind of a brainless, silly mistake. At the minimum, they used H for another one of the modded functions in there. Well, if you play BeamNG at all, you know H is horn. Well, now what that caused to happen was horn did not work at all in the D series. So yeah, that's kind of one of those things of like, that might help right there, maybe. Let's see, split the vehicle section, vehicle specific section in the controls menu into 2 sections, installed and uninstalled parts. Okay. Audio, they changed the default speaker format from 5.1 to 7.1. Yes, my headphones will work better. I know what you're thinking. Headphones? That's only 2. They actually have a whole surround sound thingy with it. I mean, there's a reason why I bought them like 6 years ago for $160. Really good quality. So, at least for the audio, I would say. Microphone was really good too, considering for the time, but I had to upgrade. I added new UI sounds, added new latches sounds for the armored truck and the school bus. Now we get into some of the more nitty-gritty stuff with the rendering, game engine, vehicle AI and traffic, world editor, all that kind of stuff here too, which, yeah, we can kind of scroll through a little bit here. You guys can pause, take a look at any point you want, or you can pull up the link, the link, the website, the page here, and take a look through that. But that's pretty much what we got here. So let's go ahead, pop on over here. I'm going to also go ahead and go like that. There we go. So quick start experiences. It's exactly like they said. The UI is all new here. Wait a minute. I'm noticing, I don't know if it's just me maybe making it up, but it really does feel like there is more depth, and by that I mean like physical 3D space depth to the sounds here. Also, the audio seems... Number 1 description, default monitor. I think that might need to get fixed up. It used to say something different, but yeah, this is where my settings are right now. Let's go ahead and put these back to where I had them. Shadows resolution high. There was something else. There was an ultra that I had, but I'll leave it at a high. I think we'll be okay. We'll go ahead and turn these back on. Let's see. Display is normal. Graphics, okay, that's all good. So controls, we go to force feedback, assign. Nope, that's gonna grab that. And that's not the one I want. I gotta turn on my controller real quick. And we'll go take a look at this new vibration mode as well while I'm at it. So there we go. Ooh, yay. Look at that. It's actually working. Kind of. Where am I at? Okay, so it's not scrolling down here though. It's kind of weird. It's like it's highlighting some of the stuff. Use gamepad vibration. Strength they said was supposed to be 100 by default. It's not. Okay. Let's go ahead and apply that. And then we had to go to bindings. Steering here. Right. Okay. Why has that got the up on there like that? That's weird. Got all kinds of tips though showing up here. That's pretty cool. So it's supposed to be 1-to-1. And that was supposed to be set. The screen's going to go black here in just a second. Actually, no. Let's do this. There we go. That way I can go back, take a look here. 1-to-1 is set to 0. Okay. So it is set that way. That's good. Let's go ahead full screen again. Perfect. So that's set to 0. This is how I have it personally set this way. Linearity's at 2. No dead zones because I don't need them because it snaps right back to center. Pretty much center. I mean, it's just touch off to the side there, but it's pretty much perfect. So we're okay here. Everything should be fine. Force feedback enabled, smoothing, all that stuff is fine. We're good there. So we should have that going. The one thing I am also noticing is audio-wise, I think the volume is a little bit louder here than it used to be for the main menu. I don't know if that's really gonna change anything that way doing that, but let's see. Got our more menu right here. Yep. It just looks like that. We can take a look at stats here. These are my stats in case you were curious, but these are not fully accurate, unfortunately. You know, rally stage. I mean, we got some different ones in here that kind of look a little weird. Career mode, see, Italy 15 hours and 47 minutes right there, but West Coast 4 days. yeah, there's a little bit of a difference right there, that's for sure. You know, you can see Autobahn and all that kind of stuff in multiplayer and all that, which is not fully up to date. Yeah. You know, some stats and stuff, but that's pretty cool. Repository, I don't have the mods even in here. This is a completely different deal. So we're gonna go to free roam, and we can go up here to choose, and we'll probably just go to Utah. Do the airfield, why not? Then we'll go ahead and pull up some of these vehicles, take a look at them, get a look into that. I'll also provide my verbal feedback on how the controller vibration handles. If I have it on the controller, because that's another option, is I can turn it off on my controller. Okay. UI apps loaded first. This is always going to be something that happens the first time you update, then you load into a map. So personally, I recommend just loading through all the maps, and then you can just worry about playing the game normally and never have to worry about it again until the next update comes out. So already... Oh yeah, they changed that up all right. Yeah, there's lots of stuff in here. Holy cow. We're actually running on the frame limiter pretty heavily in here now. Wow. Okay. I don't have any mods in though, so there's that. So let's see. There's going to be other vehicles that show up, but they're not actually in the game right now. That's why the missing previews. That is for mods that like I said, I don't have. Looks like they changed some of this stuff too. Some of these images, like the H series, look normal, but I mean, we obviously got some different stuff going on here and here. So let's see, Miramar. That's the big one to me. I want to see the Abishu Miramar. There we are. And yeah, we got Miramighty here. Safari Rally. I think that was already one that we had in there. Yeah, we got an Export Ute. Miramighty. It looks like we only have 3? 4. Okay, so we got this one, this one. Yeah, we got 4 Utes in here. Okay. Let's take a look at this guy. Same engine sound yet. My headphones just... No, they're same where they always have been. It's a lot louder, that's for sure. They did mention they were going to do something like that with the last update notes, though, so... There is that. Ooh, I hit a rock there. But somehow... Okay. Hearing seems a little bit long here, because what do we got? 5 years? Yeah. I mean, but 70 at 3,000 is pretty reasonable, so I mean, yeah. Wow. I think I just ever so lightly tapped it, but I don't know. It's hard to say. There is like no room there though between that. Wow, okay. So yeah, this is nice. And then we got PBR in here. So we'll just zoom on in. And now with that, we can also see it's a lot clearer looking. Let's just keep zooming in. All the way on in. Rolling forward there. Looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. We're gonna be rolling forward a bit more here. Ooh, went a little far. There we go. All right, and then what was it? The blue buck, I think they said. Yeah, they did do some stuff with that, but the big one, MD series. Let's just get into this. We got a couple of different derby buses here. We got my season 2 vehicle. But here's what we got. We got some school buses. We got the off-road school bus. We got the rocket school bus. Let's go ahead and take a look at the MD60 version here. Yep, it's got to load everything up. So yeah, we can see the button there to open that up, and then it closes again. Because of course it's not meant to be. It's meant to be for, say, rollover occurs, the bus is on its side. That's why you open those windows. That way you can get out that way. Does this does open. But yeah, this is a perfect example of why you would use that. Let's take a look inside here. I hit F somehow, but I thought I hit R. Oh, look at that, the mirrors. That's a little bit of an odd one. And it's resetting my camera position when I reset the vehicle. Okay. I don't really mind that. Okay, so we got manual, master strobe, amber, dome lights all over the place. Here's what I really do wonder. So let's go back to about 75 degrees here. Cool, we got all that. What I want to know is the door. Oh, come on, mouse. Okay, let's use this then. Yeah, there we go. So there's the door. So we can get out, but then can we actually get back in? No? Yeah. Oh my gosh. It just takes a little bit. We are in the bus. Oh, and the lights are going. We can see a little bit of weirdness with the mirror there. But just because the door is open. Okay. As soon as you open the door, get the lights going. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I like that. And then, yeah, we can get in. It's a little bit of a pain because you kind of got to run and jump a little bit. Or get stuck in my case. Yeah, I'm fully stuck. But yeah, we get that. Yeah, so there's our sign. We can also zoom back in here so we can see this a little bit better. So there is apparently some dome lights here. 3 rows in the back. And let's see. Yeah, that turned on up here in the front. We could see that happened. That's pretty awesome. That is a little bit closer to the back on this side. I think, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, we got dome lights in here. That's awesome. We can turn on the fan. Oh, I like that. We can turn on the amber lights, which we got a monitor that's up top, so let's go ahead. We'll close the door. And then manual. Okay, there's that. We can turn on the amber lights, maybe not yet. So I think also if I do pop that open and it opens, there we go, we just use that. Yeah, we can get in here as well. And this should show emergency exit light is on. And then let's see, we put the manual off. Not 100% sure on how to run that stuff. That's pretty awesome. Also, we got this guy. So we can pop him open just for air and then pop it all the way open. So it could be like that. So it's popped open like we would. I used to ride the school bus. They would do that. They would just pop it open like that. And then there you can latch it all the way. These guys open up. Wow. That one doesn't want to though. That closes a little forcibly though. Get some more over here, I think. No. Alright, we have the engine bay. I thought I just opened that up, but Yep, and of course we got these guys, so that's pretty awesome. The gearing is a little off. It's definitely a school bus though, because it does not want to roll at all. Ah, yeah, that's still solid there. Let's see if I can get her to roll though. I want to kind of see some deformation here. Back on over to about 75 or so. I like that the dash light seems a little bit brighter, a little bit more clear too. Yeah, I would feel bad for anybody in there. Go ahead and just pull this up, kind of take a look. Yeah, I'd say that's... Wow, ouch. I mean, that would definitely be an ouch. It's like all kinds of crooked and everything too. Heck it. Yeah, I can see the whole top cap has shifted, so that's very well assembled, I gotta be honest. I mean, the way it looks, that it's deformed, it seems very, very appropriate. I mean, obviously it's developers, right? So they should do a good job, but that's the thing is it just a box? No, it's like actually got the way that they assemble these in there correctly, and that's very nice. All right, let's carry on. Let's carry on. We got another one to take a look at. Got the armored police vehicle here and the armored bank truck. Let's go ahead and take the armored bank truck. And I'm going to go ahead and take my favorite, the Roamer. It's usually pretty sturdy. And let's see, we'll take the Road Sport LXT, a little bit more weight there. Nope, I didn't want to replace current. I do that a lot, I'll be honest, when I'm in free roam. Armored bank, spawn new. Now we hit up. Okay. Free roam actions. AI. Yeah, you could set routes too. Where's there's a fleet now is there. Yeah, that has not done anything to it yet. There goes my hood, uh-oh. You're kidding me. Slowest rollover for me. Rolled him over. Yeah, we got the lock right there. Engine kill switch. Nice. I don't know what those three buttons are supposed to be doing. Here's what I'm going to do, though. I really want to put this to the test and see how this handles, so About the only vehicle that will do it is going to be the T-Series. And I want something that'll be fast, still strong and sturdy. So I don't want to go with the TC. I want to go with the regular T. I'll do the long haul special. Probably should be all right for that. Should still be fast enough. Yeah, that's pretty tough. It's taking a good hit from the T-Series here. We got money grab, our security. Oh, yep, it's going too. Good. Want to kind of see how that fares. Oh, there goes the axle, finally. Yeah, the axle did come off, but I mean, it fell down a cliff. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. It held up very well in there. All right, AI disable. Let's go ahead and actually take a look in the vehicle now. So yeah, we got all of that standard stuff. I mean, the glass doesn't actually look any thicker or anything like that, but what is that actually supposed to be doing down here? Just a standard radio with just some random buttons that don't do anything, I guess? I guess so. Yeah, and then we got our switches here. That's pretty awesome. Can't open those. Let's go ahead and see what happens with this guy here. Then we'll probably wrap up the video after this. I'm pretty into it, I gotta be honest. I haven't even seen how long I'm going. Yeah, a little over an hour. I want to see though, like, if this thing really is. Let's go slow-mo here. So there goes all of the wheels. I'll shut down off the engine quick. Oh yeah, that is impressive. Like, really impressive. That box of that truck is just not having an issue at all. Okay, I gotta do one more thing. Temporarily switch to realistic. What do you mean temporarily to realistic? This is supposed to be always realistic. Yeah, so that's another bug I'm thinking there. Kind of hit it at an angle too, so that way we can see. Wow, it barely even moved. That could be enough to blast open that door though. If you're in a T-series and you hit that thing, it might hurt a little bit, but I think you'd be all right. We managed to... No, that'd still have to be unlocked. Wow. It's another case of a door being stuck. And yeah, it's just not gonna happen. Could almost fit in here. Come on, let me in. Yeah, that's a little bit of a bug because it keeps wanting to set it to arcade for this guy for some reason. This is pretty impressive though. So yeah, guys, I think this is going to wrap it up for today's video here, going through all the old 3.6 updates and everything like that. If you did enjoy, go ahead and make sure to hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, more RLS or vanilla career modes, random BeamNG videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you have any other topics, opinions, ideas, comments, suggestions, go ahead and drop them down below. Otherwise, that is it for today's episode, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.